I have listened to the entire camp whatever it is, at least 7 times since beginning this trip. New River Gorge, and here is something about a really huge bridge. It's the largest of something. Don't remember what. But yeah, down there is the road that people used to have to drive. There's the public boat ramp, and there's the new. Cruising on through the Appalachian Mountains. Well, I'm in Asheville, North Carolina, and I just had a really nice yoga class. It was 9:15, and during it I realized it like finally set on me that I told people I was going to go on a road trip, just on a whim. I said I was going to leave and drive around the country, and here I am actually doing it, which was a really weird thought. Also, yogurt is a great road snack. I just got to my hostel, and the ceilings are reminding me quite a bit of the sorority house. Random hostel in the middle of North Carolina, and I see this. So hello, Nick and Aaron. I wonder if I know who you are. It's weird whenever I get off of camping and driving and end up in a hostel or with a bed. And I feel like I have energy, and most of the time I have the energy to do the things I need to do. But it's 8 o'clock, and I am so tired I can barely move. I'm pretty sure that I have never woken up naturally at 5:30 before, but it is so hot in this room, and I went to bed at 8:30, so here we are. I'm not sure what today holds, but I guess I never am, so here we are. I did warm yoga yesterday, and the room was 90 degrees, and I'm fairly certain that this hostel room is equally as warm as the warm yoga room. Well, I'm at the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, which is the most visited park in the United States. That was a chairlift question the other week. I think it was on Storm Peak. Yeah, but I just got here. Their visitor center is so nice, and they have this little mountain museum. I think it's like 20 degrees right now. Yeah, it's freaking cold. So I'll probably do a little bit of hiking, a lot of bit of driving. Away we go. Over Christmas, we were talking about everybody in the family's vocabulary and how some people, my brother says like all the time, and we couldn't figure out what mine was, which I just find so incredibly bizarre. But no, listening to myself talk for hours on end and looking at my face for hours on end is the weirdest thing. It looks very structurally sound. I'm moderately convinced I'm losing my social skills. What do I think? As somebody who doesn't frequently drink a ton of coffee, I just like the taste of it. I'm on my 3rd cup today, and I am shaking quite violently. We have a little bit of a drive ahead of us, only 4.5 hours. I just got through Great Smoky Mountains National Park. I didn't stop at the Newfound Gap, and I'm kind of bummed about it. And I'm betting I'm going to beat myself up about that, but I think I'll just have to come back. It's really pretty up here. It was really dry on the North Carolina side, but then on the Tennessee side, it was pretty snowy, actually. So, yeah, that's how I've spent my morning. Been up since the freaking crack of dawn. The rest of the world is not a sauna, just the sauna attic part 2 in the hostel I stayed at. Yeah, I keep having these interactions with the sauna attic where it's just my room that is ridiculously hot. The last it was my house, and now it was this one. You get served so quickly whenever you're eating alone at a restaurant, which is like a blessing and a curse. I like to take my time to like rest whenever I'm at a restaurant. But then they give me my food and I'm in and out in like 20 minutes. I'm like, I thought I just witnessed a woman explain how to use soap, but it was just sugar scrub, so I was the idiot. Well, I am in my 3rd state of 4 today. I'm in Virginia. I made it to the Lands of the Sheets, which is a perfectly lovely gas station, except for the fact that they had the toilet paper on upside down of the way it should be. Yeah, but filled up on gas, and I'm continuing my way. I'm in West Virginia, and I am at the rafting company of one of my friends who I guided with this summer. And all the campsites are closed. I think you probably thought I was coming here in the summer. So the nice lady at the desk is letting me stay in their parking lot, and she gave me a ticket for free. So I'm pretty stoked. It's gonna be all good. Yeah, I had a long drive today, listened to a lot of Jane Eyre, which was still okay. It reminds me a lot of Hamilton, which I'm going to go see. But yeah, it's really an interesting book. It seems kind of, I don't know, like an epiphany, like for women in writing, I guess. I have no idea. But I don't know, it seems like she's standing for herself and her beliefs, which is nice to see in some old literature. The lady at the Ace Adventures Who What Now really hooked me up. She gave me some hand warmers, and she was just such a sweetheart, and it was really nice to talk to her. So yeah, glowing review, even though I'm not boating here. I would love to get on the water, do some rafting, but it is not that season. I'm in the New and Golly area. We had plans tentatively to go to the Golly, me and a bunch of the first year guides, once the school had started, but I don't think that ever actually happened. But I will make it one day. In the meantime, I am reading Even Cowgirls Get the Blues again. One of my greatest teachers I had, she gave me this book as a graduation present. She's like, I think you would like it. And it's the weirdest freaking book I've ever read, but it's definitely my favorite one. It's bizarre. Probably wouldn't recommend it in most cases. Yeah, but it definitely is passing the time well. Please excuse me probably oversharing. These are my opinions of January 22nd, 2019 at 8:10 p.m. and they might be wildly different tomorrow. But they are also, and it is also answering the questions that everybody that I interact with wants to know. So instead of saying it to each person individually, I feel like the vlog is the best venue. I think that this trip is doing something akin to scraping off all the scar tissues off of a wound and letting it heal again, but I couldn't tell you what the scar tissue is, and since I'm only halfway through my trip, and I don't know, I feel like I have come a long way. I'm not sure in what regards, but I definitely feel like I have, and that just makes me curious as to what the next half of the trip's going to bring. Certainly a lot more people. I guess that is a big thing. It's like the first half, I spent very little time with people, except for my week-long stint in Florida, which was incredible, and I really loved being around my aunt and my cousins and all that good stuff. But for the most part, I have spent a lot of time in solitude, sitting and thinking and just doing what I gotta do to get by, I guess. It really kind of not awakens your senses. Well, yes, I guess I am going to say awakens your senses whenever you're a solo female traveler cruising through the highways of America and you're trying not to get murdered or something of those lines. And I don't know, it's just like at the hostel last night. I got in there and I didn't think I had to worry about the state of my car. I didn't have to worry about whether or not somebody was going to break into it. I didn't have to worry about whether some man was going to knock on my window in the middle of the night. I didn't have to worry where I was going to stop, where I was going to eat, all of these things that I am worrying about constantly. And instead I just got to go to bed and I just went immediately to sleep. But I guess there's something kind of nice and, what's the word? It just feels natural about doing this and about like worrying about my current state and how much money I have, how much gas I have left in my tank. Just like worrying and adventure, I think, go hand in hand. I don't think you can have one without the other. I don't think you can find peace without some sort of terror. And you can't have the good days without the bad days. And I wonder what more bad days I'm going to have and what other good days I'm going to have. And I'm kind of bummed this trip's only 6 weeks long. And I know my adventure is going to continue afterwards. But it's going to be hard to get back to civilization and hard to get back to talking to people all day about who gives a F what. And I don't know, hard to not to be alone in my thoughts about the people in my life and the things I've done and the things I will do. And I'm sitting in the middle of West Virginia right now, and I don't want to say I could not be happier, because I could. I could definitely be a lot happier, and I could be a lot less happy, but I don't think happiness is the point of this trip. in regards to Even Cowgirls Get the Blues, I just kind of clicked why I am liking it right now. It's because the first half of the book is the premise of this girl who has huge thumbs who is hitchhiking her way back and forth across the nation, and that's all she does. So I kind of feel a kindred spirit to. And I guess while I am on the expository kick, one of the reasons that I'm really liking having so much time to think is the fact that I'm allowing myself to think. I feel like since I've gone off to college, my brain has stopped working and I don't really come to conclusions for myself anymore, which is absolutely ridiculous because I used to be so proud of the things that I could come up with, and I don't know, I would always state my case with certainty after I had enough information on it in school, and I would always be excited to participate and excited to say what I had. And I remember just sitting in math class and always saying the dumbest stuff. And I would get so much crap for it, but I didn't care because I was proud of myself. I don't know, one day I was in math class and I was sitting there and my teacher, she was one of my other favorite teachers I've ever had, she was asked the question and I just sit there and I say 5. And she stares at me incredulously, and everybody else just started laughing. Then she actually finished the problem, and it was 5. I was just way ahead of everybody, but I didn't care what was going on. But since going to college, I can have thoughts, and I will never share them. The only class I've been at college for a semester and a half, the only one class that I participated in was when I was forced to, in my law professor's class. It was this class about law professors. It was just horrible. I hated everything about it. But I would just read this book and make my own thoughts about it and tell the teacher, no, I think you're wrong. And he was like, oh, okay. And I really was allowing myself to think. And I loved it. And I feel like engineering school does not give me that capability. It is, you answer these questions, you answer these math problems. Or even in my engineering projects classes, I would just get so many looks of, I have a lot of ideas and I will say them all. But most of them are crap. I'll tell you that right now. But there's a bunch that are good, and people would look at me and be like, what the heck are you talking about? And I don't know, I know that there is an avenue for my kind of thinking in engineering, and I know it's important. I just haven't found it yet, found how to access it, because I'm not going to be the person in a 300-person lecture to say something, even though I'm wondering it. And I kind of hate that about myself, but it's not going to change. This is going to be a freaking long-ass vlog. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just in a talking mood right now. And the fact that I can express myself vocally is bizarre, too, because this hasn't happened in a long time. Maybe I'm just really lonely, even though I don't feel it. I haven't talked to people in a long time. But yeah, I feel like there's joy in sharing your thoughts, and there's joy in being wrong. While I am on the topic of vulnerability, I guess that's what that entire last thing was, I think that that's one of the things that's drawing me back to Boulder, is that now I have people who are encouraging me to think in ways that I haven't in a while, and super passionate about the things that they love to do and that they love to see and talk about and hear, and just like encouraging each other to maybe think about different things. Like one of my best friends, we've gone and gotten brunch and talked about books we've read and ideas we've had, and I can always count on him for a good conversation. So yeah, I would miss that if I wasn't at Boulder, and I'm missing it now, but phones are awesome. My winter camping tip of the day is to have 2 pairs of gloves, so that whenever you lose one to the pits of your sleeping bag, you still have another.
I really do wish this phased me more.
The fact that I'm sleeping behind a rafting office is way too familiar. I'm pretty sure that this is my last morning camping, unless something happens on the drive home. But yeah, in the indefinite future, I am going to be in Pittsburgh for tonight at my aunt's house. Then I'll be in New York at my friend's house and my brother's house. And I'll be back in Pittsburgh visiting all sorts of relatives. Then Ohio, I see a friend. Michigan, I see a friend. Minnesota, I see 2 friends, but getting from Minnesota to Michigan. I don't know if I was camp. And then just getting home. Yeah, that's my current plan right now. So here I am, kind of enjoying my last morning camping. I was planning on getting out of here at 8. And it's 8:15. I was watching a video. But yeah, I was rewarding myself with breakfast in bed. Mostly because I didn't want to get outside because it's kind of cold out. But yeah, my back's open. So I guess it's not really doing anything. I think I just wanted to stay in bed. Yeah, I was eating my yogurt and some dates and peanut butter because they were easy and I didn't have to boil any water. It's kind of a weird feeling that this is it. I'm going to miss this bed. At the New River Gorge, and here is something about a really huge bridge. It's the largest of something. Don't remember what. But yeah, down there is the road that people used to have to drive. There's the public boat ramp, and there's the new. Cruising on through the Appalachian. Current life choices have got me like, well, this is the Gauley, and it's as close to it as I'm going to get. Down there is Pillar Rock Rapid, according to Google, and according to my YouTube videos that I've seen. It seems to fit the bill, but yeah, just listening to the roar of the river during my morning little hike around Carnifex State Park was pretty nice. But yeah, I am going to make it down this river one day. Not sure when, but that is a life goal. It's always fun to look at a rapid and think about how you would run it, and then watch videos of people actually running it and find out that you were totally wrong. Okay, in defense of myself on that last video, I looked at it and thought that the correct line was what you should do. And then I second-guessed myself and said, no, absolutely not. And then my second guess. Honestly, if you encountered me in the woods, you would probably think I was just completely crazy. I am dancing and singing and skipping and all sorts of fun things that I find are wonderful and a great way to pass the time. But if you just saw a young woman doing these things in the woods, you would be highly concerned.